Have you ever been told to follow your passion, as if it were a map that will lead you straight to a good life? That message is everywhere. Posters, career counselors, magazine covers. It sounds simple and comforting, but it can also feel scary. What if your true passion is hidden, waiting to appear only when the perfect moment arrives? What if everyone else already found theirs and you are still searching? Welcome to BetterSelf. This channel helps you grow and learn English at the same time. We talk about ideas that improve your life, and we speak in clear, simple English so you can listen and learn. Today's idea is powerful and practical. The title comes from a phrase that cuts through the follow your passion myth. Be so good they can't ignore you. It means that the way to build deep, lasting passion is not to search for it like a lost thing. Instead, you create it by getting very good at something that matters. In this video, we will break down why passion is built, not found, and how you can use that idea in your work, your hobbies, and your life. We will move through 10 chapters. Each chapter is a step you can use. I will tell stories, give examples, and share small practices you can try today. Listen carefully, and feel free to repeat any part you like. The language is simple, the ideas are big, and the path is practical. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The Passion Trap. Why follow your passion leads you nowhere. Most of us learned a simple idea early in life. If you follow your passion, success and happiness will follow. The phrase sounds like a promise. It paints a picture of a neat path. Discover the thing you love, do it full time, and everything falls into place. But many people discover that this promise is fragile. They search for a single calling, as if passion is a thing waiting to be discovered under a rock. The search often leaves them anxious and stuck. The first reason the follow your passion message can hurt is that it makes passion feel like a treasure hunt. Treasure hunts give you a moment of excitement followed by a long period of searching. When nothing dramatic appears, people start to doubt themselves. They blame their lack of passion on personal failure, as if there is something wrong with them. They think, if I truly had a passion, I would know it by now. But life rarely gives that kind of clarity. Most people experience many interests over time, some that fit their life and some that do not. The second problem is that the phrase suggests passion should come before skill. It suggests that you only pursue something after you feel an overwhelming attraction, and then you put in the work. But this order is backward in many real cases. Often, deep interest grows after you practice and see small successes. When you become competent in a field, you start to enjoy the craft. The joy follows the skill, not the other way around. Another reason the message can fail is that it ignores the role of opportunity. Even if you find something you love, being paid or recognized for it depends on the world. Markets, timing, and connections matter. Passion alone does not secure a livelihood. You can love making paintings, but selling them requires specific skills and a network. Without these, passion can become frustrating and lonely. When people believe they must find a singular, innate passion, they may avoid taking risks. They wait for the perfect match. A simple question to ask yourself is this: do you want the feeling of passion, or do you want a life that gives meaning and energy? Passion as a feeling is fleeting. What creates sustained meaning is work you can improve at, people you serve, and something you can be proud of. This combination often emerges from effort, not discovery. Consider the story of a young woman who loved movies in a vague way and thought she needed to find her perfect job. She tried many things: retail, office work, even cooking. None felt like the dream. Eventually, she started editing short videos for friends. She practiced, learned software, watched tutorials, and accepted feedback. She was not passionate at the start. She became good, and good work gave her more opportunities. After a year, she found herself looking forward to editing. She enjoyed the technical challenges and the chance to shape a story. The passion arrived later, because competence and small wins fed it. Another example is a man who adored music but was not great at school. For a long time, he believed his only option was to wait for inspiration. He spent hours listening to songs but rarely played his instrument seriously. One day he joined a small band where people expected him to show up and practice. The pressure of being part of a group and the structure of regular practice forced him to improve fast. As his skill grew, so did his love for the craft. Now he describes his connection to music as a partnership rather than an inner flame. The relationship deepened because he put in the work. If you find yourself follow your passion path and feeling stuck, a helpful shift is to ask different questions. Instead of "what am I passionate about?" try asking, "what would I enjoy getting better at?" Or "what small skill could I practice this week that might make life more interesting?" These questions focus attention on action, not discovery. They put you in the driver's seat, where you control progress, and, in time, enjoy the ride. Passion is not an on-off switch. It is like a fire that needs fuel. The fuel is practice, small wins, and the recognition that your work matters to others. When that fuel is present, passion grows naturally. It becomes steady, not momentary. And importantly, it becomes something you created through effort, a passion built, not found. Chapter 2. The craftsman mindset versus the passion mindset. To build passion, we need to change the way we think about work. Two mindsets shape how people approach careers and skills: the craftsman mindset and the passion mindset. They are different ways of seeing your work, and the choice between them has real consequences. The passion mindset asks one question: what does this job give me? It starts with what you want: meaning, fulfillment, excitement. People with this mindset scan the world for roles that promise emotional reward. They ask, does this job fit my identity? Will it make me happy? This is not a bad question. We all want meaning in our lives. The problem arises when this mindset becomes the main rule for choosing work. When we care more about how a job makes us feel than how we add value, we can become dissatisfied quickly. If a job doesn't match an internal expectation of meaning, we leave, or we wait for meaning to arrive. The craftsman mindset turns the telescope the other way. It asks, what value can I offer the world? A person with this mindset focuses on becoming excellent at something useful. The craftsman looks at the demands of the field and asks how to meet them better than others. This focus on value building leads to a different pattern. Instead of waiting for a job to suit them, the craftsman shapes their work to be valuable. They practice, learn, and produce results. Over time, that value creates options: better jobs, more autonomy, and a stronger sense of purpose. Think of the difference like two gardeners. One gardener walks through a garden looking for the prettiest flower to admire. They choose their path based on what feels lovely right now. The other gardener studies the soil, plants seeds, waters, and prunes. Over the seasons, the gardening work creates beauty. The first finds beauty already there and hopes it will last. The second creates long-lasting beauty through steady effort. The craftsman mindset is not about becoming a robot who only cares about output. It is about seeing excellence as a path to more meaningful work. When you become rare and valuable in your field, you earn the right to shape your role. You can get more control over your tasks, choose the people you work with, and take on projects that fit your values. Those freedoms are not given to people who stay average. They come to the people who invest in skill. A clear example is a software developer who is eager to find their dream job. Someone with a passion mindset might chase companies with cool brands or flexible perks without considering how well they can deliver value. They may change jobs often, always searching. In contrast, a developer with a craftsman mindset spends years building a track record of solving hard problems. They contribute to important projects, write widely read technical posts, and share code that helps others. When they want changes or more creative work, they can negotiate it because they bring something rare to the table. This mindset also changes how you deal with disappointment. If your job does not give meaning right away, a craftsman asks, what could I learn here? How could I be better? This question opens doors. It invites curiosity, not despair. It trains you to find opportunities in places others dismiss. A craftsman also finds a deep satisfaction in the process of getting better. That satisfaction is more durable than the fleeting thrill of a sudden, passionate discovery. Adopting the craftsman mindset is simple in theory but challenging in practice. It asks you to shift your daily habits. Instead of skimming for emotional alignment, you must devote time to deliberate practice. You must measure progress and seek feedback. You must set small, achievable goals and accept the slow, sometimes boring work of improvement. But this investment pays off. Over months and years, it builds your capacity and your options. If you are listening and feel stuck between these mindsets, try a small test. Pick one small skill related to your work, something specific you can improve in the next 30 days. Then, write down 3 ways to practice that skill and commit 20 minutes a day. Do not worry about passion in the short term. Worry about improving. After a month, notice how your feelings change. You may find that enjoyment grows as skill and confidence increase. That is the craftsman mindset at work. In the end, the craftsman mindset is not about denying meaning. It is a smarter path to creating it. When you invest in becoming so good that people want what you offer, you earn the chance to shape your life. Passion, then, becomes the product of skill and value, not the precondition for them. Chapter 3: Career Capital: What it is and why it matters us. The idea of career capital sounds formal, but it is simple and useful. Career capital is a name for the skills, reputation, and accomplishments that make you valuable in the world. Think of it like currency. If your work is your life, then career capital is the money you earn through skill. With enough career capital, you can make choices. You can ask for better work, more freedom, or a mission that matters to you. Why does career capital matter more than passion in early stages? Because passion alone rarely convinces others to give you control. Employers, clients, and audiences want results. They pay for outcomes, not feelings. You can be the most passionate person in the room, but if your work is not useful, passion will not win contracts, promotions, or support. Career capital bridges the gap between your internal desires and the external world. Consider a craftsman, a chef, for example. A chef who develops a unique technique or consistently creates memorable dishes builds career capital. That capital allows them to open a restaurant, demand higher pay, or travel to collaborate. If the chef had only passion, they might open a restaurant without the skills, risking failure. The chef who builds their craft first will likely enjoy the work more and have greater control later. Career capital is not just about technical skill. Reputation is part of it. When other people respect your work, that respect becomes leverage. A writer with a track record of thoughtful essays attracts editors and readers. A photographer whose images appear in exhibitions gets more opportunities. This reputation grows through consistent output and public evidence of skill. Make things that others can see and evaluate. Publish, share, and document your progress. Career capital thrives in public. Another aspect is the ability to work on harder problems. When you develop a specific capability, you can tackle challenges that fewer people can handle. Those harder problems often pay better and are more meaningful. For example, a copywriter who learns to write persuasive emails for large companies can work on high-value campaigns. Their specialized skill opens doors. Career capital thus needs focus. Generalized, shallow skills rarely build the leverage to create big changes in your work life. The path to career capital usually requires trade-offs. You must spend time polishing a narrow set of abilities rather than chasing everything. Focus helps you build depth. Imagine an artist who tries to master painting, sculpture, and music equally. Their attention is divided, and progress slow. Contrast this with an artist who commits to painting and practices with consistent, deliberate effort. The latter will likely reach a higher level of skill in painting, and thus obtain more opportunities related to that craft. Another important point is the idea of scarcity. Career capital is most valuable when it is rare and useful. If many people can do what you do, your leverage is lower. Therefore, aim to develop skills that are not only strong, but also hard to replicate. That does not mean inventing a new field. It often means combining skills in a unique way. A designer who learns front-end coding and user research becomes more rare and useful than a designer who does only one of those things. At the same time, career capital is built through work that produces clear results. That means small, measurable outcomes you can show. A good habit is to keep a portfolio of your best work or a log of problems you solve. For example, a marketing professional might track campaigns with numbers, open rates, conversion rates, revenue. Concrete evidence makes career capital visible and persuasive to others. A final reason career capital matters is psychological. When you see your own progress, your confidence grows. Confidence makes it easier to ask for better work or to try new directions. It also makes work more enjoyable. Where passion can fade when work is unclear or unrewarding, career capital creates a steady foundation for meaningful choices. To begin growing career capital, pick one area where the world needs skill and where your interest can sustain focused practice. Commit to deliberate, measurable improvements. Share your work publicly and collect feedback. Over months and years, small investments add up. When you have built a store of career capital, you will find that more doors open, and the freedom to choose work that aligns with your values grows. Passion is not the starting point. It is the reward. Chapter 4. Deliberate Practice. The Engine of Mastery. If career capital is currency, deliberate practice is the mint that produces it. Practice by itself is not enough. Many people practice in ways that feel productive but do not lead to real gains. Deliberate practice is different. It is focused, structured, and designed to push your ability just beyond what you can do now. We all know what practice looks like in general. You repeat a skill, you do it often, and someday you get better. This happens in sports, music, and many crafts. But deliberate practice is more precise. It has several key features: clear goals, immediate feedback, repetition, and the willingness to leave your comfort zone. These elements combine to create real improvement. Start with clear goals. Vague aims like get better at writing are not enough. Deliberate practice means identifying a specific skill component to improve. For a writer, it might be stronger opening sentences or more vivid sensory details. For a programmer, it could be mastering a new algorithm or reducing bug rates. Clear goals let you measure progress. Feedback is essential. Without honest feedback, you may keep rehearsing mistakes. Feedback can come from mentors, teachers, peers, or even the market. The key is to have information that shows whether what you do moves you closer to the goal. When a barista gets feedback on the quality of foam, they adjust technique and improve. When a singer records themselves and listens, they notice pitch problems and correct them. The faster you get good feedback, the faster you improve. Repetition is necessary, but it must be intelligent. It is not about mindless hours. It is about repeating the right things with attention. This often means breaking a skill into sub-skills and practicing them deliberately. A chess player studies openings, tactics, and endgames separately rather than just playing casual games. A painter practices specific brushstrokes and color mixing until they become reliable. Leaving your comfort zone is the part people dislike. Deliberate practice is uncomfortable because it targets weaknesses. It is the opposite of practicing only the parts you already do well. To grow, you must focus on the edges of your ability, tasks that are difficult and require concentration. This is where real learning happens. Another helpful idea is the use of small, consistent sessions. Long, unfocused practice sessions can lead to fatigue and little improvement. Short, intense sessions with clear goals are better. For many people, 20 to 60 minutes of concentrated, deliberate practice is more effective than several hours of low-focus work. A story helps. Consider a young violinist who wanted to play concert-level pieces. She practiced hours every day, but felt stuck. Her teacher shifted her approach. Instead of playing entire passages repeatedly, she broke them down into short, challenging measures and worked on those with slow, precise repetition. The teacher gave immediate feedback and asked the student to focus on hand positions and intonation. Over weeks, the student noticed faster improvement than she had with long, unfocused practice. The shift was not about more time. It was about more intentional time. Deliberate practice also requires the right attitude. You must accept that progress is often slow and that plateaus are normal. Many skills improve in fits and starts. The important thing is to keep the structure, set clear goals, seek feedback, and keep practicing the edge. In practical terms, start with one small skill and map out a practice plan. Choose a goal, find a way to measure progress, and get feedback. If you are learning a language, you might focus on pronouncing 5 difficult sounds and record yourself every day for 2 weeks, comparing the recordings to native speakers. If you are learning to code, pick a specific algorithm and implement it while timing your work and examining mistakes. Deliberate practice is the engine of mastery because it converts time into results. Not all time is equal. 2 people may practice 10 hours a week, but the one who uses deliberate practice will grow faster. As your skill grows, your career capital increases. The more capital you have, the more options and control you can claim. That control is what makes work feel meaningful and personal. So practice, but practice like a craftsman. Practice with purpose, feedback, and persistence. Over months and years, the small wins from deliberate practice accumulate into a deep expertise that others notice and value. That is how you move from being interested to being indispensable. Chapter 5. The Rule of Small Bets. How to Build Control and Optionality. One of the hardest parts of building a meaningful life is dealing with uncertainty. You cannot predict every turn, and big risks can feel threatening. The small bets approach helps you navigate uncertainty while growing your career capital. It is a method of trying new things in ways that protect your future and increase your options. Small bets are trials. They are experiments that cost little but teach you a lot. Instead of making a single full commitment to a career path based on a vague feeling, you make low-cost investments to test whether a direction suits you and whether the world values your contribution. Each small bet produces data, feedback about whether you should continue, pivot, or stop. Why small bets work? First, they reduce risk. When you commit small amounts of time and resources, failure is cheaper. You can recover and try another path without heavy losses. Second, small bets increase learning speed. Each experiment teaches you something valuable about what you enjoy and what people reward. Third, small bets create options. You never put all your energy into one possibility. You build multiple avenues that might succeed. A practical way to think about small bets is like trying tastes at a market. You walk along and try a small sample of food. Some samples delight you, others disappoint. You do not buy an entire meal based on one taste. Instead, you gather information from multiple samples. Over time, you discover what you truly want to eat for the whole day. For people building career capital, small bets might look like side projects, freelance gigs, workshops, or short-term volunteering. For instance, if you are curious about writing about technology, write 3 essays and post them on a personal blog. See how readers respond. If the essays attract attention, you have a sign that this path might be fruitful. If they do not, you learn something about what readers want or about your own preferences. The power of small bets also appears in the idea of optionality. Optionality is the concept that keeping multiple avenues open creates better chances of success. When you build small wins in different spaces, you create options that can combine into something larger. A musician who plays small shows, teaches lessons, and posts videos online is not relying on one income stream. Those parallel efforts can converge into a bigger opportunity, such as a tour or a successful online course. Small bets require a mindset of curiosity and learning. Treat each experiment as an opportunity to collect data, not as a test of your identity. Avoid thinking, if this fails, I will never be good enough. Instead, ask, what did I learn? How can I apply that to the next bet? This perspective keeps you resilient and adaptive. A story illustrates this well. A designer in her 20s worried about choosing the perfect career. She feared that a wrong choice would lock her out of good options. Rather than making a life-defining decision immediately, she took 3 small steps. She freelanced for local businesses, taught a weekend workshop, and joined a design community online. Each bet taught her different skills: client communication, public speaking, and network building. 1 year later, the combination of these small wins led to a job at a company that valued all 3 skills. She did not find a calling in a single moment. She built it through a sequence of small, practical choices. Small bets are especially useful when paired with career capital. Each experiment helps you identify where your emerging skills match market needs. As you learn what is valuable, you focus your deliberate practice on the most promising directions. This focus amplifies the effect. You spend your limited time on the things that produce real leverage. To start making small bets today, list 3 low-cost actions you can take this month that test a skill or idea. One could be publishing a short article. Another could be offering a free service to a small client. And the third could be joining a local group related to your interest. Each action should take a few hours and have an outcome you can evaluate. After each bet, reflect. Did people respond? Did you enjoy the process? Would you double down? Small bets do not guarantee success, but they make your path more robust. They allow you to explore, learn, and build career capital while keeping your future flexible. Over time, the accumulation of small, smart experiments can lead to a life where you are so good that people notice, and where the work you choose is both meaningful and earned. Chapter 6. The Skill-Driven Path to Autonomy and Mission. One of the most powerful rewards of becoming so good at something is the freedom to choose. Autonomy, the ability to control what you do and how you do it, is often the gateway to a meaningful mission. But autonomy is not something you simply demand. It is something you earn. The skill-driven path explains how you can trade valuable abilities for greater freedom and, in time, a mission that matters. Autonomy shows up in different ways. For some, it means having control over daily tasks and schedule. For others, it means choosing the projects that align with their values. Autonomy can be financial, creative, or social. All forms of it make work feel more like an expression of the self, rather than a series of obligations. The tricky part is that autonomy rarely appears early unless you are already offering something rare. The route to autonomy is straightforward in principle. Develop rare and valuable skills, demonstrate them, and then use them to negotiate more control. Each bit of career capital gives you leverage. When a company or client depends on your unique ability, they are more willing to give you autonomy because your skills create results. Autonomy and mission often follow this pattern. Skill first, autonomy second, mission emerges after. A good example is a journalist who wants to cover a specific global issue. Early in their career, assignments are assigned, and topics often feel constraining. But a journalist who develops an excellent ability to find sources, write cleanly, and tell human stories can pitch longer pieces on topics they care about. Editors will trust them because of their proven skills, giving them more freedom to pursue the stories they find meaningful. Over time, their work shapes a mission, the persistent focus on a topic that aligns with values and impact. Another example is a software engineer who wants to build tools for small businesses. Initially, they might work on tasks assigned by managers. But if they invest in learning system architecture and shipping reliable products, they can propose a new project or even found their own startup. The skills they honed are the currency that buys them the ability to pursue a mission. This path also involves responsibility. When you ask for autonomy, Others expect outcomes. Autonomy without accountability is privilege without trust. That is why building career capital is essential. It signals that you can handle independence. People will give you greater freedom when they believe you will deliver results. Mission, in this context, is not a sudden revelation. It is a direction that forms as you take control and shape your work. Many people talk about finding their mission as if it were pre-existing, but for most, the mission emerges as they combine skills, experience, and a clear vision of impact. This emergent mission is strong because it ties to real competence. It is not a fantasy about what could be. It is a plan grounded in what you can do and what others need. A practical strategy to move toward autonomy and mission is to create a portfolio of control. Start by building small areas where you have influence. Maybe you take charge of one feature at work, run a recurring workshop, or manage a tiny product. Prove that you can produce value in these narrow domains. As you succeed, expand your control slowly. Each success becomes a bargaining chip. You can ask for more time to explore deeper problems, propose projects aligned with your values, or accept lower pay temporarily for work that matters to you in exchange for creative freedom. It helps to remember that autonomy and mission require patience. They are not instant rewards for passion. They are outcomes of consistent skill growth and trustworthy delivery. If you desire a job where you choose your projects tomorrow, you must already possess the abilities that make such freedom reasonable for others to grant. If you feel stuck with little autonomy right now, begin by identifying one skill that, if improved, would increase your influence. Then practice deliberately and look for opportunities to show the results. When you have built some credibility, ask for a small increase in control, such as more flexible hours or the ability to lead a small initiative. Use that freedom to pursue a project that matters to you, and let its success expand your mission. The key is to think like an investor in your future self. Put in the work now to earn the rights you want later. Passion built on this foundation is not fragile. It is a passion stamped with competence and choice. When autonomy and mission come after skill, they create a deeper, sustaining love for the work because it is both personally chosen and externally validated. Chapter 7. Real Stories. Musicians, programmers, chefs, and teachers. Abstract ideas become powerful when we see them in real lives. Here we look at people from different fields who built passion by getting better first. Their stories share common threads: deliberate practice, small bets, and the slow accumulation of worth. Let these examples show how the theory works in practice. Begin with a musician named Lena. She loved music as a teenager, but never believed she was talented enough to make a career from it. She started as a hobbyist, playing guitar for friends. At 22, she joined a local band that rehearsed every week and played small shows. The band required commitment. Lena realized she had to improve her timing and technique to keep up. She began practicing scales and rhythm exercises intentionally for 30 minutes a day. She also recorded performances and listened for flaws. After a year, she could lead a song confidently. After 3 years, she was regularly booked for studio sessions. Her love of music changed. It was no longer only pleasure. It included the pride of mastery and the joy of collaboration. Each small win fed her passion. Consider a programmer called Marco.ai. He admired tech leaders but felt far behind. Early in his career, he accepted junior roles where tasks were tightly defined. He used spare time to solve coding problems on practice sites and to contribute small fixes to open source projects. He focused on learning system design and communicating via clean code reviews. Slowly, his reputation grew. A manager noticed his consistent contributions and asked him to lead a small feature. Marco's responsibilities grew with his skill. He did not wait to feel passionate about coding before committing. He built competence, and the passion followed when he saw his code used and appreciated. Another example is Chef Aisha. She loved food and cooked at home for family, but the kitchen felt chaotic in professional settings. She apprenticed under an experienced chef, taking the less glamorous tasks and learning knife skills, timing, and flavor balance. She practiced pastry techniques for hours, learned how to manage a busy line, and accepted critique. In 5 years, she moved from prep cook to head chef. The kitchen became a place of controlled creativity rather than random inspiration. Aisha's passion deepened because she had responsibility and the ability to craft dishes that moved people. Finally, look at a teacher named Thomas. He liked the idea of teaching but dreaded public speaking and classroom management. Rather than wait for a perfect calling, he taught a single after-school class for children and asked experienced teachers for feedback. He recorded lessons and reflected on pacing and clarity. Over time, he refined his lesson plans and adopted techniques to keep students engaged. The improvement led to better results for his students and recognition from parents and school leaders. Thomas's teaching became a mission rooted in the measurable impact on children's lives. These stories show common patterns. None of these individuals began with a lightning bolt passion that guided every choice. Instead, they started with small commitments and a willingness to improve. They sought feedback, practiced deliberately, and took small bets that tested the field. As their skill and reputation grew, so did opportunities for autonomy and meaningful work. The passion that developed was not a vague emotional state. It was tied to competence, responsibility, and real outcomes. Notice also that public evidence mattered. Each person shared work that others could evaluate. Music recordings, code contributions, plated dishes, and classroom results. Public work created recognition and opened doors. This is a lesson you can apply. Make your progress visible in small ways. Share a short demo, publish a piece of writing, or ask a mentor to observe your work. Visibility turns private improvement into career capital. Finally, these stories highlight patience. Mastery and significant career changes rarely happen overnight. They require repeated action and a tolerance for slow progress. The good news is that steady effort compounds. What looks modest in a month can become powerful in a few years. If you want to be so good, they cannot ignore you. Start with a simple promise to yourself. Practice regularly, get feedback, and share the results. Over time, the path will reveal itself. Chapter 8. Building a Practice Plan. Concrete Steps and Daily Habits. Theory is important, but you need a practical plan to turn ideas into actions. Building a practice plan transforms vague ambitions into a daily routine that produces career capital. In this chapter, you will make a simple, repeatable plan that fits into your life and moves you toward being so good they can't ignore you. Begin by choosing one focal skill. The key word here is one. Depth beats breadth when building rare value. Think about what skill most directly increases your ability to produce results that others will pay for or recognize. If you are a marketer, perhaps it is writing persuasive landing pages. If you are a teacher, it could be classroom engagement techniques. If you study languages, it might be fluent speaking in practical situations. Pick one skill that feels important and somewhat challenging. Next, set a clear 30-day goal. Make this goal specific and measurable. Instead of improve my writing, try write 4 short articles of 800 words each and get feedback from 2 readers. This clarity lets you know if you made progress. A 30-day horizon is short enough to prevent procrastination, but long enough to allow noticeable improvement. Now, design daily routines. Deliberate practice requires regular, focused sessions. Schedule them like appointments. Smaller, frequent sessions usually work better than long, irregular ones. For instance, plan 30 minutes 5 days a week, focused exclusively on the chosen skill. During each session, break the practice into a warm-up, a main focused task, and a review. The warm-up prepares your mind. The main task pushes the edge of your ability. The review captures lessons and notes the next steps. Feedback loops are crucial. Decide how you will get feedback and at what intervals. If you are learning to code, consider code reviews or automated tests. If you are practicing public speaking, record yourself and listen later, or ask a trusted friend to watch and give specific comments. Schedule weekly check-ins where you compare your progress to the 30-day goal and adjust your plan as needed. Another practical tool is to keep a habit log. Write down what you practiced each day and for how long. This log is not for perfectionism, it is data. When you look back at a month of practice, patterns emerge. You will see which days you skipped and which days were most productive. Use that information to improve your plan. Include deliberate rest. High-quality practice is intense and requires recovery. Schedule rest days and shorter sessions on busy days. Overwork without recovery reduces the efficiency of practice. Sleep, healthy eating, and short breaks enhance the brain's ability to learn. Create small public projects to make your progress visible. Public work can be a blog post, a short video, a recorded code demo, or a mini workshop. These outputs serve a triple purpose. They provide feedback, they build reputation, and they force focus. Even a small, imperfect piece of public work is more valuable than a private habit that never leaves your notebook. Build accountability into the plan. Tell a friend, join a group, or post your weekly update online. Accountability increases the chances you will stick to the plan. Choose someone who will give honest, supportive feedback rather than empty praise. Finally, allow space for adaptation. Your first plan will not be perfect. After 30 days, review the outcome honestly. What worked? What did not? Did your 30-day goal feel too easy or too hard? Adjust the next cycle accordingly. Over time, compound your progress by picking new focal skills that build on the previous ones. The long-term pattern of focused practice and public output will create career capital. As a small start, write down the one skill you will practice this month. Then schedule 3 30-minute sessions this week and one small public output by the end of the month. That simple plan, executed consistently, will move you forward more than another year of unfocused searching for passion. Chapter 9. Overcoming doubt, burnout, and setbacks. The path to mastery is not smooth. Doubt, burnout, and setbacks are part of the process. Expect them and prepare strategies to move through them. People who become so good they cannot be ignored learn not only how to practice their craft, but also how to manage their energy and emotions so they can practice for years. Begin with doubt. Doubt can be useful when it motivates careful work, but it becomes dangerous when it erodes effort. Many people experience the imposter voice that whispers they are not talented enough. The way to quiet that voice is to build evidence. Keep a log of your small wins and improvements. When self-doubt emerges, read the list. Seeing concrete progress is an antidote to vague fear. Burnout is a different challenge. It is not the same as fatigue. It is exhaustion that comes from long, undirected effort or from neglecting recovery. Deliberate practice is intense, and if you do not balance work with rest, you will hit a wall. To prevent burnout, schedule rest and variety. Alternate periods of focused practice with lighter tasks that still move you forward, such as reading, mentoring others, or a creative play. Also, keep your practice aligned with meaningful short-term goals to maintain motivation. Setbacks are inevitable. Projects fail, feedback can be harsh, and progress sometimes stalls. The key is to treat setbacks as data rather than destiny. Analyze what went wrong with curiosity, not self-judgment. Ask specific questions. Were my goals realistic? Did I receive helpful feedback? Did I miss a skill gap? Then adjust the plan and continue. Emotional resilience grows with both support and perspective. Find mentors or peers who understand the craft and can give honest feedback and encouragement. Join communities where others are also learning. Sharing the struggle reduces isolation and provides models for how to persist. Another useful strategy is to set process goals instead of only outcome goals. Outcome goals can lead to frustration when progress is slow. Process goals, such as practicing a certain number of hours per week or completing specific exercises, Focus on behaviors you can control. When you hit a setback, process goals help you keep going by centering on the next small action. Sometimes, you will need to step back and reassess. A pause is not failure. It can be a strategic move. If you notice chronic demotivation or physical exhaustion, take a break to recover perspective. Use the time to read, explore adjacent interests, and return with renewed focus. Many successful people intentionally cycle through phases of intense work and lighter reflection. These cycles preserve longevity. A personal ritual can help. Make a short review every Sunday of the last week. Note one success, one lesson, and one adjustment for the coming week. This ritual keeps you learning and prevents small problems from growing into crushing setbacks. It also reinforces a growth mindset. Progress is built from regular, small improvements, not from sudden breakthroughs. Finally, remember that setbacks are often part of the creative process. Many famous achievements came after repeated failures. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is persistence, not luck alone. Build systems that make it easier to persist, clear routines, feedback loops, public accountability, and supportive peers. When doubt and burnout arrive, respond with a plan. Rest, review, and then return with adjustments. Over time, these cycles of effort and recovery will strengthen both your skill and your capacity to enjoy the work. That is how passion becomes sustainable, not by ignoring the hard parts, but by learning to manage them well. The final chapter asks you to see the long view. Building passion through skill is not a sprint. It is a long arc that changes how you see yourself in the world. To stay on this path, cultivate patience, shape your identity around practice, and allow a lifelong curiosity to guide you. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active, sustained effort with an understanding of time. Mastery takes years. For many fields, it takes a decade or more of focused work. That idea can feel discouraging, but it is also liberating. Once you accept that deep work requires time, you can stop chasing rapid fixes and start investing in steady improvement. This longer horizon also reduces the pressure to be perfect quickly. Instead, aim for consistency. Identity matters. How you describe yourself influences your actions. If you think, "I'm someone who tries lots of things but never sticks," you will behave accordingly. If you can say, "I am the kind of person who practices and improves," you create habits that match that identity. Small actions reinforce identity. When you keep showing up, your self-image shifts. Over time, those small actions accumulate into real competence and confidence. Allow yourself to become a beginner again and again. Learning something new can be humbling, and many people avoid that discomfort. But the willingness to be a beginner is how you expand. Mastery is not about arriving and stopping. It is about continually stretching into new edges while enjoying the craft you have built. Cultivate curiosity as a lifelong habit. Passion that is built tends to be more stable because it is fed by interest in the craft itself. Curious people notice small puzzles and want to solve them. Curiosity keeps practice interesting. When boredom arrives, curiosity can lead to a new angle of study or a complementary skill that deepens your mastery. Think about identity in public terms. When you create work that others can see, you receive social signals that reinforce your identity. Positive reactions and constructive critique shape how you believe others see you, and often how you see yourself. Use this feedback to refine your self-concept and your practice priorities. Finally, protect the love of the craft by remembering why you started. Skill building can become a purely instrumental activity if you forget the human reasons behind it. The joy of solving problems, the pleasure of creating, the desire to serve others. Every now and then, step away from the efficiency questions and enjoy the craft for its own sake. Play, experiment, and let yourself fail in low-stakes ways. This playful attention keeps the passion lively. A closing thought. Being so good they cannot ignore you does not promise perfection or fame. It promises the ability to choose, the satisfaction of visible progress, and the opportunity to do work that matters. The journey will require patience, practice, and the courage to keep trying when things are hard. If you embrace the long view and invest in the skills that create value, passion will grow as a natural consequence. It will be a passion you built, not one you hope to find. We began with a simple question: should you follow your passion? The more honest answer is this: build it. Become so skilled that people want you, and you will earn the right to craft a life of meaning. We covered a step-by-step path. Move from the passion mindset to the craftsman mindset. Build career capital, practice deliberately, make small bets, claim autonomy, and manage setbacks with patience. Now, take one small action. Choose one skill, make a 30-day plan, and commit to a few focused sessions this week. Share one piece of work publicly, get feedback, and learn. Over time, these small steps will accumulate into a powerful career and a real love for the work you do. If this message helped you, subscribe for more ideas that improve your life and your English. We will continue exploring practical ways to grow with clear language you can understand. Remember, passion is built, not found. Start building today, and be so good they cannot ignore you.